good afternoon. We're here in Chicago for the International Society of Technology and Education, and I have with me Dr. Robert Dillon, who's Director of Innovation at the University School System. He's also a guest speaker here at the conference over the next several days. And Robert, I'm just wondering, as people are designing schools today, they need to be designed by the leaders in those schools.
Yeah.
So when students or even community come to a school, what would a principal really look for in how to create that experience?
Yeah, so thanks for having me.
Yeah, you're
and
welcome.
it's, I think that school leaders are often, all their training isn't about design.
Right.
And so I think part of my role in working with superintendents and principals has been helping them kind of have a designer's mindset.
Mm-hmm.
So even to go outside of their building and say, what does it feel like as a student to walk in? What does it feel like as a community member to walk in the space? And so it's very eye-opening because many of them have never kind of taken that journey.
Mm-hmm. Interesting, it really is. One of the things that, as I've stood there at the front door with principals before,
Yeah.
and it's interesting, they know a lot of names.
Yep.
And they'll say hi to Billy and Sally and Jane. And part of what they're doing is looking at trying to create a feeling of friendliness and safety.
Yep.
You can't learn if you don't feel safe.
Yeah.
How do you design that experience when they walk into school?
Yeah, I think it starts all the way back to like the signage
Mm-hmm.
of the school. So you may have an old school sign where you go out and put the letters in. You may have a digital one, but what you put on that sign, I think, is key to saying who you are as a school. And let me explain,
Yeah,
right? So
interesting. Yeah.
oftentimes we'll see on signs like May 15th is this event.
Yeah.
But 80% of the people that drive by the school don't care
Yeah.
about that.
Yeah.
They want to know what's going on inside. I want to see on signs like, inside amazing things are happening.
Right.
Right? Tell the story.
Right.
And then as you go towards the front door, what signs are on the door? No visitors,
Mm-hmm.
no parking. Like, how many times do you go on a school that says no visitors, no this, no that? That's not a welcoming
Right.
sort of thing. So once leaders see that, they're like, oh.
Interesting.
And that's before you even walk in the front door.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. So as far as the tools or the design features of that entry when
Yeah.
they come in, the digital wall has really taken off.
Yep.
And you think that can be incorporated into a design to really show students what they're about to engage that day?
Yeah, I always ask principals, how many square feet into your school does it take before people can see learning?
Oh, I see.
So you have a digital wall, you
Uh-huh.
have images of learning,
Uh-huh.
there's still images, digital images, but like I want right away
Mm-hmm.
a community member, I want the UPS guy
Mm-hmm.
to know what's going on in that building based on the pictures they see.
Mhm.
I want signage that says, we love visitors, welcome parents,
Mm-hmm.
please check in over here, right? You can do that and have safe, secure schools,
Right.
but do it in a way that is clever and says everyone's welcome here. It's a real
Mhm.
community feel to that. And so,
The way schools have been designed in the past, the students' artwork would end up in the hallway on a
Yeah.
bulletin board. But it seems like today, students really want to show their work in a whole lot of different ways, whether it's a PowerPoint or any other kind of collaborative effort. Is there an opportunity to really display that kind of excitement and collaboration that's going on as part of that entry experience?
I think absolutely. And at one of the schools I work with, we were talking about static displays,
Mhm.
dynamic displays, and then digital displays, and
Mhm.
trying to figure out the right mix of all of those.
Mhm.
You want to have a display that maybe turns over every 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
You may want to have one that's there for a quarter.
Right,
And those are different types of content.
right.
And then you want to have the digital display that shows, hey, we are integrating technology here.
Uh-huh.
It sends a very quick message that like, oh, this is a different type of place.
Uh-huh.
And so I think all of those are really important for our hallways, our entryways. Our hallways can be learning spaces. I mean, you guys get a chance to design, and the number of square feet that are hallways.
Sure.
Right?
Big
And
percentage.
if you aren't using those
Yeah.
for learning,
Yeah.
then kind of shame on you,
Yeah.
right? Like you
Yeah.
have to use every square foot as a learning space.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. Well, kids bring their cell phones to school.
Yeah.
Are they allowed to keep them on the person, or do they have to put it in a locker? I'm just curious.
Yeah, I mean, it's all over the place.
Yeah.
And I think we're trying to figure this out. I think at one point in time, I was way over on the let's have them use it for learning. Because you know what? They can do podcasts, they can create a movie, they can be their own television studio. It's a powerful tool.
It absolutely is.
But we're in a day and age where the applications, the apps on the phones, are designed to be addictive.
Yes, very much.
And in knowing that, then we have some responsibility to say, hey, we know that these companies are trying to draw your attention over here, and we're competing for that attention. So we're trying to thread the needle on this. It's kind of difficult.
Interesting. The reason I brought that up, you were talking about signage.
Yeah.
And wayfinding through a school.
Yes.
Well, with the technology of augmented reality, whether it's that phone or whether it's that laptop, you can go through that school and you can learn an awful lot of what's going on in that school through augmented reality. You might want to talk about that.
Yeah, I think that some of the things that are emerging, VR, AR sort of things, provide us some opportunities to really allow for the stories of a school to be told. I think about a custodian in a building that's there at night can tell you amazing things about the school based on the space. Someone who comes for an athletic event to a school can tell you by walking through a school what's happening there. Like the delivery guy comes into the office, they can tell you. So how do we promote the non-verbal story of a school through the space? That's a question I'm always asking leaders. And I think that's what this is. It's storytelling.
I think it's a new generation of school design.
It is.
Just on the forefront.
Yeah.
And its influence on students and probably parents as they come into the school. Because as I've seen, parents come for PTO or PTA, and that's after hours. They don't get to see what's going on during the day. So to be able to have that ability of an augmented reality that you can walk down the hall and say, well, this is a science room, but it's also many more things, and it describes what goes on in that classroom.